What's going on, guys? We're back in our podcast. This is Robbie, Austin, and Doug. How you fellas doing today?
Very
Age-old
good,
question.
Robbie.
Doug's tired. I'm doing okay, Robbie. I'm hanging in there, I guess. Waiting for football season is really what I'm
Oh
doing.
yeah, getting close. And
Yeah.
Dougie P, I know you're ready for a nap.
Yeah,
Look at
I'm
his
I'm gonna
eyes, man.
I'm gonna take a little 20-minute nap after this and hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? Grind don't stop.
Hey, in the lab. But let's talk some NBA Finals. We had Game One and Two happen. Obviously we had Game One. The Pacers were down for a lot of the game, turning the ball over a ton. Thunder defense looked on top. Then they came back and ended up winning in the end. But game two, we saw the Thunder that we know. So, what do you guys think about those games?
Tales old as time, I guess. Like now, at this point, no lead is safe against the Pacers. They just it doesn't matter who you are, I guess. I kind of was shocked that it was game one that they came out and won. Like, I was like, I could see a game two steal, but a game one steal is like crazy
Big.
to me because I thought the Thunder were going to honestly beat them by 40 that night. But Tyrese Halliburton doing what he
Yeah.
does, I guess, at this point. What's he? I think he's
Yeah.
like 5 for 5 in those, like, on those shot attempts in those
Yeah,
scenarios.
isn't he like 11 of 12 like in his career or something in his career
He's
like
clutch.
it's
He's
something in
clutch.
the
We can't
clutch.
can't can't say anything else about it. And then
Yeah.
game two rolled around, and it was kind of like there's just no possible way that the Thunder lose this tonight.
Mhm.
But to me, that that's a win for the Pacers. To take one was a win. You didn't need to take them both. Didn't need to be
Mhm.
greedy. Even though Halliburton did say after game one to Siakam, you see that clip of them where he was like, "Let's get greedy," and then he was like, "We didn't even play good
Mm-hmm.
before game two." So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
unfortunately did not get greedy. But they
No.
won one on the road in Oklahoma City, which is a big deal. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
great start.
That game winner, I was just like it.
The
Just like
magic.
I was just like, man, like the fact that he did that game one against the Knicks, right? Like he did that, and then game two, like he's clutch. And while when Robbie, as soon as he brought this up, I'm like in my mind, I'm like, where's Halliburton ranking like in these like greatest Pacers of all time? I mean, off the top of my
Mm.
head, you got Reggie Miller. Um, I, he's got to be top five, right? I mean, I don't really. I'm
Yeah,
trying to think
like
of other
like Paul
Pacers.
George,
Yeah,
but
you got to go Paul George, like Danny Granger.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
there's not a whole lot. I mean, Rick Smith, Jalen Rose, like those are OG guys, but like Paul George never took him this far, right? So it's, I mean, Paul George, like OG Paul George was
he was a
nice.
dog.
he was a
Yeah.
dog, but now we got Sixers George, and we don't. That's another episode.
No, not
But
a
yeah,
dog.
yeah, definitely not. But game two, J Dub had a really good game overall. It's just like the Thunder just took it and ran with it. I think overall they really just showed this is why they are the best team in the league, arguably. And it's going to be interesting going into game three in Indianapolis. Again, if the Thunder can pull off a, a win first game playing in Indianapolis, that's going to be huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that definitely like also Andrew Nemhard was hitting some crazy step back
the
threes
step
on Shea.
back on
Like,
Shea.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was like you knew they've played together on right Team Canada,
in
and
Canada.
he was putting up some crazy shots. It's like you only do that kind of shot, especially when you have a guy like Tyrese. When you're like, oh, I've played against this guy before. I know what move to get him with. Hit those crazy shots, but then it was like that was their first lead take when Tyrese hit the game winner too. So it was pretty crazy to
23
see.
seconds.
Yeah,
They
they
led for
didn't
that.
even lead the whole game, and then they ended up taking it, which was insane. And then we all expected game two, the Thunder to lock
Yeah.
in and take control, which they did. And their swarming defense, like they went on a Thunderlanche. Like I remember we were talking about the Cavaliers earlier.
Thunderlanche.
That was a Thunderlanche
Let's just call it a
because
thunderstorm.
that works better. I like that better, Austin.
A
But it's
thunderstorm.
just their their defense and when they can get their transition game going, it's like you can't do anything when it happens, and we'll see if hopefully they keep continuing that.
Yeah, and shout out Aaron Wiggins because I felt like every time it kind of seemed like the Pacers were kind of creeping in like that 14-13 point when they cut it to like 14-13, which for the Pacers is like they're kind of creeping back into it. It felt like Aaron Wiggins just like buried a three just to like keep them down, put them away. So him and Caruso, what did they combine for? Like 40?
Yeah, something like that.
They each scored. I don't know how many Wiggins finished with, but I think
Yeah, he
Caruso
probably had like
finished with
21.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a couple
so
Aaron Wiggins cards. I might need to.
You are a big
he
Wiggins
saved
guy.
basketball.
It might be the time.
He
Yeah,
saved basketball.
he did.
But I saw a lot of people saying that like the Tyrese Halliburton game winner is going to go down as like the Allen Iverson game winner in the 2001 NBA Finals, where they stole game one and then just got throttled the rest of the series. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think the Pacers got some more fight in them.
Mm-hmm.
For
I
sure.
think tonight will be a big
Indicator.
teller of how indicator of how the rest of the series is going to go. Spread's 5.5, which I think is very close.
That is.
Should be betting the Thunder, but
Yeah.
I feel like Tyrese Halliburton, though, the thing about him that keeps him like in like the not superstar level, but like star level, is like he disappears for games. Like they'll just have him in like a blender, and like because I think he had like 5 points before the fourth quarter, and then he scored like 12 or something, finished with like 17. But like I feel like you can't get that
Passive when
yeah
you're
when
the
you're in
number
the
one
finals,
guy.
especially, and you're supposed to
Yeah.
be that guy for them. So
Yeah,
that's
I mean, that's a good point. But like when you say that, like the first thing I thought of was like Anthony Edwards. Like, is he a star or is he a superstar? Because he also disappeared right in their series. So it's like, I agree. There's not many people. I think like LeBron is probably the only guy that's like will always like he never has a bad game. Like I'm sure there was some crazy stat where like it was the last time he scored like single digits in a game was
it's
like
been-
like 10 years ago or something like that. I don't know the specifics, but I'm sure you guys have heard or know what I'm talking about. Like
yeah.
not many players now are built like that where like they will score super low digits, you know what I'm saying, or disappear. But like Anthony Edwards did that in the playoffs, and obviously Halliburton did, as well. So I think it's just having to be consistent through when your team, needs you the most, or even if you're winning by a lot, like don't let off the throttle because this entire playoffs have seen like no lead is safe. Multiple teams coming back from 20-point deficits. So it's like the 4 points isn't even 10 or 15 is not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it could just be a credit to the Thunder defense for just suffocating them. Like, because you think about it, you got like Lou Dort, who's going to be sticking on you. You're in the torture chamber. And then it's like, oh, here's Caruso off the bench coming at you. It's like they have and Jalen Williams, like they have so many defenders that like can just completely take you out of a game. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess
You can't get a good switch too.
Yeah, no, you cannot get a good switch. Their whole team can just defend.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty incredible. I gotta give my
Yeah.
credit to the Thunder.
That's why, it's just so hard to crack their defense. And, for the Pacers, I mean, obviously, if they can get things going in transition, the quick stuff, it's going to be way more of a struggle, obviously, if they're in the half court more, having to, create against these great defenders. Because it's like, it's going to be really tough. There's some high-level guys. So they want to keep playing their game like they did against the Knicks, like they did against the Cavs. Like were able to keep moving the ball so fast down the court, extra possessions because of how quickly, and then you got Nesmith, when he's hitting shots, he's on fire. So they're just gonna have to be against the Thunder. You're gonna have to play more consistent basketball. You can't rely on coming back in the fourth quarter. It's not exactly a recipe for success, especially when the Thunder can put up scoring totals like they can.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, like, who do you even target on the Thunder Like, do you try and just go at Hartenstein? Like, is that like their only like
Yeah,
real guy you
and
can go at? I
Yeah,
guess
I
Shea.
guess.
Like, Shea's a
yeah,
good
but
defender, but he's not like
no, I just feel like you can't even
incredible.
target him. Like like the last game, like game two, he played some phenomenal defense. Like I remember like one of the plays. It was I don't remember who it was, but they like spun in and then Shea just stripped it right out
Oh,
and like
Halliburton,
took
yeah,
it. Yeah,
he
and
stripped
like he
Halliburton.
was making crazy and like he can play like lockdown when he wants to, just because he's like 6'6" with like long arms. It's like it's just tough. It's basically if they sub on like one of the deep guys, and they're not subbing those guys on in this series because of like matchup. Like they're not going to sub on the other Jalen Williams unless it's a blowout or it's over. Because in this series, like besides if there's like a rebounding moment, they're not really going to get him in there. So it's just so tough when they have so many guys that can just switch around. Like Siakam, he's the guy who can like be the mismatch guy because a lot of the Thunder guys, a lot of their wings aren't as obviously as big as him. Siakam's huge, so that's really the area where they can target people. He can get a switch on like Case and Wallace, who's smaller, great defender, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Duke
it's gonna be
Dennis
a
out
long
there.
series. It's gonna be a
yeah, and
long series.
yeah, definitely. We have a lot of basketball to be played, and side note, Case and Wallace had like a logo man sell for like 30K before the series, which is
Great purchase by whoever bought it.
pretty crazy.
Phenomenal purchase.
But unless you guys have any other notes, I have a question for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Fire
Draw the
away.
top three for me.
All right, for this week's top three question, I thought this would be a fun one. This is inspired by the last week's question, but
Mm.
I want to ask you guys, what are your top three to five? If you have honorable mentions, favorite mixtapes of all time, high school, college.
Oh, okay.
You
It's a
remember
good one.
when we were younger, we all used to watch these Ball is Life, House of Highlights, like all these YouTube channels, the mixtapes. So yeah, in that, well, I
Are
thought
we
that
just
would
gonna
be a
go?
fun
Are we gonna
question.
go though? Like label goat status for John Wall? Like John Wall's got to
You
be.
can do your personal favorites.
Okay.
Like you don't
Okay.
have to do what you think is necessarily the best. Like I'll start out with one of my favorites is obviously this guy was just dominating. Zion Williamson's
I
high
was gonna
school
start with him.
mixtape was just so ridiculous. Like he's throwing down windmills on like 5'7" white guys.
That's like
It's
he was
just like
playing me out there.
it was too easy. But imagine having to guard that man after a long day of algebra.
Like I was gonna start with Zion as well, and
Yeah,
like I don't care if he was literally going up against players like me every single
yeah,
game, but it was still crazy.
it was so fun.
Shout out to the kid, that one kid that tried defending him though. The
Yeah,
Wolves guy. He brought the energy.
hey, you got a
I
foul on him.
I don't know. That one might be up there with John Wall, just
Yeah,
for the fact of like, because here's the thing, like, we were like the exact same age as Zion, like in high school, so like
Yeah.
we were just seeing like while I was playing basketball, while you guys were playing basketball, right? Like this guy is the same age as us doing this to like teams like same level teams like that we were playing, and it's just like crazy. I was just like, yeah, seeing something like the 360 dunks or him just like stealing it and just like I was like it was mesmerizing, bro, because it was just like someone our age, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
yeah,
He
but
looked like a grown
yeah.
man playing with
Yeah.
second graders. That guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when Zion semi tricked all of us into thinking that this guy's the next like LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's gonna go crazy.
I mean, dude,
Definitely.
even at Duke, like I remember watching the games at Duke, like when he blew through his shoe, like when he broke his shoe,
Yeah.
like that was a highlight in itself. I'm like, this dude is so big and powerful. He like hurt himself by ripping through his sneaker. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like,
Yeah, he's throwing down 360 windmills at Duke too. Like it's insane. Like the dunks he's pulling off, head at the rim, between the legs, like
Mhm.
360. It's just insane. Like, I don't care who you're playing, if you're able to get those in game, like in game's insane. And I'm surprised he didn't break. I mean, I guess it's the technology nowadays, hard to break rims, but he probably
He
came
was
close.
shattered. Back
I
then, he was shattered so many
yeah.
Oh
backwards.
yeah.
There's like a clip of him at Duke playing at like the rec, and he like dunks on the hoop, and then it's like shaking back and forth after. It's like one of those like high school
Yeah.
gym ones. If you guys are still thinking, I just have a sound clip for the next one, and tell me what you guys.
Is this?
Oh, so we're doing
Tavon
all
Austin?
sports?
Yeah, I say
Yeah,
Tavon
yeah,
Austin.
Eddie Sport. Yeah,
Okay.
Tavon
Tavon.
Austin. Yeah. Have you
That
ever
makes
seen the clip
it.
where he showed his kid that?
Yeah, that's
That
so
was sick.
cool. But
Yeah,
I mean, that one absolutely insane. Like nothing else. Like you just if you haven't ever seen Tavon Austin's mixtape, anyone listening, watch it right now because it's one of the craziest ever.
Rams legend.
If he was in this era of the NFL, like he would be utilized so much better. It sucks that he was in a time like where they didn't really
I
had
know.
him pigeonholed in the gadget game. Like now they would be getting him involved so many other different ways. Like they get these smaller receivers to so that part sucks. But like he was playing like I remember there was a game they threw him at running back in the mixtape. Pitch it to Tavon and he had like an insane day. Like he was putting up all-purpose yards all over the place. It was insane, and definitely like one of the most iconic. Also, just
I was gonna say
the song.
that's probably my 1-1.
Yeah,
That I would
fair.
take that over John Wall's mixtape. I think that mixtape is like so awesome.
Yeah, that is definitely
Literally,
gotta be.
as soon as you played that sound, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
you probably
I think-
took the two.
I think for my next one again is right around the Zion like era because like again we went to high school at the same time as him and I remember the one clip in the mixtape is this player crossed up the defender, broke his ankles, the defender fell down, and he puts his hand out to help him up, and it was the Lonzo Ball one.
Oh yeah.
Lonzo Ball high school mixtape. I'm sure there's a bunch of like all three of them, but specifically
Yeah.
Lonzo, like with the old jump shot, with him shooting from the side, Chino Hills, like it, dude, it was just something else, especially during that time. All three Ball brothers playing on the same team. LaMelo was, I think, a freshman at that time. He had like the bleach blonde mohawk, like super young. I think around that same time too, probably a couple years later, that's when he had the 92-point game in high school, right? Like
Just
that
cherry
too
picking.
was just like, yeah. But I mean, dude, it doesn't matter how much you cherry pick or how much, even if it's a rec league basketball game or pick up like on the anywhere, like 92 points is very hard to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, but
Yeah.
going back to Lonzo, just like all the aura he had back then, and then staying in LA and going to UCLA and just like that whole like era and moment was just like really memorable. So definitely like you said, Zion, and I think Lonzo's probably up there for me too.
That's a great one.
That's like the whole that they were like Chino Hills was like the Showtime Lakers. Like they were
Mhm.
they were sick. You had the Ball
They were-
brothers. They had didn't they have a Kongwu?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah, they had a Kongwu other team. So they were a public school.
Yeah.
You know
Like,
who else was on that team?
Smoking people, which is sick.
You know the rapper DC the Don?
No.
No.
Well, he's like a rapper now. Like he's
Like
like a
full
real
on,
Oh,
like-
he's
like
on
rap-
the team.
Well, yeah, he played with them. He played
Oh.
with like Mello and all those guys. Like he's like a like. I mean, he's been rapping for like since high school, but like that's what he does now, and he's got probably
should
like
hop on a
hundreds
track
of
with
millions
Mello.
of streams. Yeah, like you
Or Jello.
look him up after you. I don't know if you've heard any of his songs, but I listened to him throughout high school because again, watched him when he was playing with like Lonzo and LaMelo and Jello, and like then he just turned to
That's
a
pretty
rapper. Yeah.
Was he getting any minutes?
I mean, I don't remember, but I mean, you got to be pretty good to be playing on that team, right? I mean, there were some guys that, sat on the bench the entire time, but he was still pretty good to, play on that team,
Yeah.
I got to imagine that the Ball brothers probably played every single minute up until it was like a 40-point game. Then they were like, okay,
Yeah. And they also, I mean, they blew up Mater Day, one of the best private schools. Like, they beat them by like 50 or something. And they had like 13 kids going D1, like probably everyone on their
yeah.
roster. And then they destroyed them. That's how, like, another level those Ball brothers were on.
Do you
Hmm.
think that they would have beaten what year for Montverde with like
What,
Cade?
2017? Yeah, yes.
Do you think Chino Hills would have won?
Because that was like,
Who's on
uh,
that team? Was it like
Here,
Cade,
I feel like it was
Cade,
Cade and
Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes?
I
Yeah,
mean, dude,
that's
it's like
Here,
maybe
yeah. Oh
Was Ben Simmons on that too or no?
no,
he would have been earlier. Uh, Monteverde.
let's see.
I mean, dude, I don't think anyone was touching that Chino Hills team, bro. Like,
Yeah, I mean to be fair, the year they
Oh, they had
played,
Andrew Nemhard too. Oh wait,
yeah,
this is
that's crazy.
oh wait, this is 2018.
That year, Chino Hills with like Lamelo and them, they beat Montverde
Oh, R.J.
82,
Barrett.
82. Oh, R.J. Barrett, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy that they were that good of a team.
I think that I agree with you, Doug. Though I think Chino Hills would have won purely just because at that point, like they had so much team chem, like the Ball brothers, like because all those players are all like
they all played together their entire
recruits.
life.
Yeah, they played together their
True.
entire life versus like the Montverde team, which is all just like bringing in like the best players and hoping that it all works out. But
Yeah.
like when it comes up to a team against that, I feel like you'd rather have the team with team chem because like we've seen it before, and I guess like every sport, you like just because you have a lot of stars doesn't mean they can play well together. Obviously, when
Hmm.
they're playing other schools, like where they're every single player on their team is better than every single player on the other team's roster, they're gonna
Hmm.
win. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. That Chino Hills team was special.
That was a special squad.
Did you find the full roster yet, Robbie?
No, it wasn't. I was curious to see just. That's not coming up. They keep
Oh,
bringing up scores from like different years.
So
here.
Robbie said my other two, like, or Robbie said the other one. I think the last one isn't a specific player; it's a specific, I guess, I'm gonna say era, and it was the
Okay.
whole Jelly Fam era. Remember that, like the Jelly Fam and
Fam
all
Ham,
that
Yeah.
Jelly
stuff,
Fam.
like just all those guys in high school, just like doing the crazy like finger rolls and stuff like that. Like, I can't pinpoint a specific player, but I remember like a lot of guys like had their own mixtapes just based off like Jelly fan moves and stuff like that.
Was like was Quentin Grimes one of those guys that was I'm trying to remember on one
Quentin
of those.
Grimes. Dude, if there's a Quentin Grimes high school mixtape out there, I probably need to watch it immediately because that that would be insane to me.
um Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I did remember. One other one that I had written down for like my personal favorites. It's a player that I've been a big fan of, and it was because of his mixtape. It was Nico Mannion.
Nico Mannion.
He
Yeah,
had
I
a
knew
he had
that.
a pretty crazy one at Pinnacle in Arizona. Like so many buzzer beaters. Like he has like this insane game winner on like their senior night against this team, and it was just like insane. Like 3 point. Like you went up and double
Hmm.
pump and made banked the three in. Like, it was crazy, and his mixtape was really cool. So definitely that's got to be up. He had like Spencer Rattler on his team.
Really?
Yeah,
Spencer
Did
Rattler
Cash?
had a
I
great
don't
mixtape
remember.
for football.
he did. He was like the number one guy.
I thought
Did
he was so him.
did Cassius Stanley have a good? I feel like you liked Cassius
Yeah,
Stanley
he
back in
he
high school
did
too,
he
right?
did too. Yeah, he had like he was like 19 in his like senior year, I think, but
Did he
he
go
had
to
like some
IMG?
insane dunks. I
Was
think
it IMG?
or Sierra Canyon. He might have been to his IMG too,
Bronny?
but I think Cassius. Might have
I
went
feel
to
like he definitely did go. I think he definitely did play with Bronny. I think you're right but Bronny's obviously a couple years younger than him. Because Cassius is the same year as Nico,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
he
what
was
that was
Sierra
2020. That was Lamelo's class, 2020, right?
Yeah.
20
Oh,
or he was 20. Yeah,
Or
20,
21.
21. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm looking at
Sierra
this.
Canyon. He
I'm
had
looking at
some
this.
crazy like tomahawk dunks, like just bringing it back, jumping from far between the legs.
Yeah.
Crazy 1 foot jumper.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, actually, I take it back. I know my third one. This is, I say everyone's the best. Mac McClung had the craziest.
Oh,
Mac
that's that.
McClung,
Yes.
bro. Yeah, Mac
Yeah.
Mac
McClung
McClung
number
did have
one.
a.
Mac McClung number
Yeah.
one over Zion and Lonzo final. That was nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely that's another one that
That's one I'm
That's just
surprised
like
about you
Zion.
Nico might have to move back a spot because Max mixtape was
It was
insane.
just like Zion, just like crazy dunks. Just keep like
Yeah.
like obviously he's a good shooter too, but it was just crazy dunks.
And he was, oh my goodness, he was posterizing these kids.
Yeah.
And his head just was above the rim. It's insane. He's like double pumping like on people. It's
Pause.
insane.
Yeah, Mac McClung definitely. Now I'm thinking about that. That one was crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then, well, talking about this isn't one of mine, but I just remembered this guy's name, Seventh Woods. His mixtape I remember was pretty crazy. He went to he was a bust at UNC, but like his high school mixtape, I remember.
Yeah, I can't say I remember who that is.
It's got to be so tough being like having a sick high school mixtape and just being terrible in college. Because I feel like that doesn't really happen that often. Like you could be a bust in the pros, but like usually when you get to college, like you're still really good.
What if you're a bust in high school too?
Michael Jordan.
I was thinking of a certain
from his varsity team.
A certain short guy who's
Julian Newman.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should have put him in my mixtapes. He's got about 10 years worth of footage of him on there.
How old is he?
I think he's
I don't
like
know, dude, but I actually
23?
somebody's YouTube video where like he was like 1v1ing this other guy, and he like a random YouTuber, and he was just like he was being such a jerk. He like had to he was like fighting the ref. He was getting so mad at the ref for like calling these fouls on him when he was just like mugging these dudes whenever they would like go to the paint. It was crazy. That Julian Newman, dude. Julian Newman's probably the biggest clown I've ever seen in my life.
His dad wants to be Lonzo or LeVar.
Oh my god. He thought his dad also thought that like they had LaMelo like on clamps. And he's like, no, he's like, we got him.
I remember like LaMelo like with his sister was like when she asked for his, to follow him, she's like, I don't want. And he was like little bro and Julian when they played.
Yeah, of course he was, bro. That's when he was at like Spire Academy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was.
You know, I actually used to have a LaMelo like for like his
Lithuania.
Lithuanian team. There you go.
You have the jersey?
I do.
Oh,
That's pretty sick.
you have to break it out one of these days.
Yeah, I'll bring it on.
Dude, I remember when all right, sorry, go Austin.
No. I'm gonna completely backtrack because I got like lost in this whole Best Montverde team. I think I've narrowed it down to 2019-2020.
That's what Caden.
RJ Barrett's not on it with them, but it's Cade, Moses Moody, Ryan Nemhard, Scotty Barnes, and then Darion Sharp's there.
That's 5 NBA guys.
Yeah, so it's those guys.
And then Chino Hills that year was what, 3 NBA guys? And Lonzo, LaMelo. We're not going to count Jello, right? Is he an NBA guy or no?
No. Well, I mean, he got
G League.
some
G League. He didn't get drafted. G League.
Yeah.
And then they had whatever the guy is on the Hawks.
What about Eli Scott? Was he in that? Did he make the NBA? Let me
No,
see.
Eli Scott did not make the NBA. He went to like some like crazy like not even D1 school that I don't even remember.
He went to Marymount Loyola.
Okay. Not even Loyola Chicago.
Or no, I think that's the same one.
Oh, that's the one. Oh, they're the same thing?
I think so. Let me see. Loyola Marymount. Yeah, that's the California. Oh, it's California.
Yeah, what I was gonna say before is like I remember back when the Z01s came out, like I was like contemplating buying, dude. Like that when that
The
shoe
original
came out,
ones,
Four
like
ninety
like the
five.
yeah,
$500 ones.
like bro, those were like it didn't matter like how bad they were. It was just the fact of like it was Lonzo's sneaker. You know what I'm saying? Like didn't matter how many times he rolled his ankle and sprained his ankle in the shoes. Like they were still
Well,
like
that's when
you
like they
wanted
brought in
them.
like the whole. That's when they made like the other ones that like looked terrible. That was like the cheap that he was actually playing at. I don't know if he actually played ever in like the first ones with like the snakeskin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever played in those. Did he?
I think he might have, but like they didn't ever get to like the public really. I feel like the first couple pairs they did, then they were like bad apparently, and
Yeah, you
then
could buy it for like $10,000 if they get autographed or
yeah,
whatever.
Mm.
and there was like they collabed with that brand it was like brand black or something. It was like they or a basketball. I forgot what the brand was called. It might have been something
Yeah.
like that, but it was like a basketball shoe brand they collabed with. To basically just took their shoe and like stamped Lonzo on it.
Mm.
Triple B could have been so much bigger if they didn't get like scammed basically by their
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
their
guy
business
that like
guy.
manager.
took all their money, their manager CEO of the time like took all their
Yeah.
money basically. Yeah, because like I
Yeah.
feel like that they were so massive like the Triple B. They should have honestly just made cheaper shoes and just
Mm-hmm.
like made like a
Sold
bunch
a
of them.
bunch of
Because
units.
like
Yeah.
I remember LaMelo had ones that like were kind of sick. They're like pink. They're like cotton candy, I think.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
I remember
Those were
which ones
sick.
you're saying.
We
Yeah.
played some kid in rec league that wore them. Remember?
I don't remember, but I feel like I know which ones you're saying, I think.
I'd wear a pair of them right now.
That'd be tough. I mean,
Cop 'em.
there
I
was
mean, if
a
they're cheap, if they're like, if I could find them on eBay for like
oh
80
no,
bucks,
probably not. The mellow ball ones. What do you call them?
or probably there's someone's selling some lightly used Zio ones or Mellow Ball ones for like 80 bucks.
I don't know. I feel like not many people like had them,
Yeah, but I don't think they
Yeah.
have. There's no way they have like resale value.
but their
I don't
retail
know.
was just so high.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. Maybe like see, I need it.
Lonzo Ball shoe.
The first ones that showed up are like the original ones. I see $350 on here. These were the ones that I was talking about. These like cotton candy ones. The guy was wearing these, Robbie.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Those are
remember.
so sick.
Those are cool though.
Doug, 180 best offer.
Are they a 13?
They're a size 7.5, but I think you could squeeze in.
Are they brand new? I'm gonna look after this. I'm gonna look for some. If I don't
They're
like,
not
I'll
brand
just
new,
use them.
but
I'll use them
they
for
look
like the
really
gym working out and
Cool
like.
Lonzo.
Oh, Robbie's just card shopping.
No, I searched Lonzo Ball shoe and it was like a shoe patch card out of 5. Only 50.
I'm telling you, Lonzo. Like at some point, I'm probably gonna go back and like, cause a lot of times, like as a Sixers fan, I will look for like Markel Fultz cards, but Lonzo's a guy that like. I wouldn't mind like finding some like cheap 101s and like collecting. Zion's a little different. His stuff still hasn't hit like where it's
Mhm.
cheap enough yet to where it's worth
Oh, it
it. But
won't.
like, I mean, at some point it will.
You think?
Zion.
You
I
think it's
mean,
gonna get low?
yeah. I mean, if he keeps,
Why?
well, you know what he's going through right now, like with these allegations and being
Oh, but
hurt.
that's
Like,
Mariah Mills or whatever. That
I know,
she's
but
full of
But the
it.
point is just if the cycle, like, look at Markel Fultz. Like, if he just keeps getting hindered with all these injuries, right? And his market will just keep tanking. I mean, his
Yeah,
stuff
but
is
Zion's still
still,
dropping like 25 a game.
yeah, but how many games a year? 15, 20?
Dog, you gotta buy these ones right here. Autograph on Lonzo.
Those got to be over 1,000.
Yeah, I was just saying, Lonzo still has
500.
Oh, wow.
some pretty good sales like on some of his one of ones.
Who, Lonzo?
Yeah,
Because he's got that nostalgia
yeah,
factor.
he has the popularity.
Lonzo is
But
sick.
yeah, he was a hooper.
Hooper.
But
Yes.
oh sorry, you can go.
I wasn't really. I was gonna bring up something that I saw that made me think this guy's gonna be so dialed for next season. Any guesses?
Wait, is it basketball or football?
Basketball. Gonna be
Wait.
so dialed next year.
Wait, this is a player you think is going to be dialed?
Yes, because of something.
Oh, Wemby going monk mode.
Wemby is a monk right now in like the Shaolin monks in China. I saw a clip of him today, just like jogging with the monks, and I'm like, this guy.
He's
But
trying
is
to
he?
reach enlightenment before the season.
But is he like cleared to play right now if the season
Yeah,
started or
he's good.
no?
He's good.
Okay, well that's good.
That is good. That is some. That's the big worry about being a big man now.
Yeah,
You always have something
especially
like that happen.
that tall. That's a different.
Yeah,
But
but Wemby's gonna be a monk, or not a
yeah,
monk. He's doing like a whole training thing though to be a monk.
See,
he's
that's
going
what
avatar
Rogers
mode.
should have been doing, not the ayahuasca.
Yeah. Speaking
Don't.
of that, man, finally signed after months and months of dragging it out. Let's just say, and pulling up. Right when mandatory minicamp starts, he finally is like, "All right, I'm coming back." And I believe Austin, you had a comment on something he was wearing.
Yeah, I actually got a lot of people arguing with me on this on Twitter. Um, I was saying that because obviously he was wearing a wedding ring, and I guess he had like a secret marriage or whatever. And to me, I was like, this is so typical Aaron Rodgers center of attention vibes. And everyone was combating me, being like, "Oh, it's so center of attention that he had like a secret wife and wedding that he didn't want anybody to know about." And I was like, first of all, if he didn't want anybody to know about it, he wouldn't be playing football with a ring on. Like I feel like not even many players do that at all. But he knew exactly what he was doing. I think this was a very calculated move by Aaron Rodgers, wearing that wedding ring, knowing everybody was going to ask you a question about it. Like that was probably the first thing they asked him was like, "Oh, wearing a wedding ring now?" So to me, it was this is a page right out of the Rodgers playbook of all of a sudden nobody cares about me signing with the Steelers, so I gotta not make up. I shouldn't say that. I would not be shocked if this was a Manti Te'o situation. That he completely made up this marriage, that he never got married, but he just has this. He had to pop on a ring and show everybody, "Oh, look at me, I got married." But that could just be me being a hater.
I mean, I get it. Like, yes, I understand both sides. I do think the point of like he is. What I would say is, I do think he's a private person in the sense of like, if the marriage is real, he didn't post it anywhere or talk about it. Like, no one knew until this very moment. I do think a lot of athletes who are married do wear like the rubber wedding ring, so like that's not uncommon. But yeah, like you're
For a
doing
quarterback,
that.
though,
I think
I mean, I
Josh
think
Allen was wearing his. I know,
I don't think he was
yeah.
but
playing with it though. I think it was
oh
just
no,
that he
just in
was. I
the
think he was wearing it after when they had his interview, or whatever.
Okay,
gotcha.
because I know they make like rubber ones just so
Yeah,
like
so
because right. I'm assuming that's what it was, but I don't know. But yeah, I think it's not uncommon for like athletes to do that. Like I think Shea might wear one during the games. I'm not sure, or they do tape or
no,
something
NBA
like
you're not
that.
allowed to. I don't think
Well, you can do tape or something. I know you can do something
you can do
on.
tape,
Yeah, so
but you
like
don't think you can wear anything.
yeah, so I mean, I get it, but I think it's just look. I don't think this season for the Steelers is going to go anywhere. I think it's just going to be another debacle of Rodgers
Mid.
saga, whether it's injury or him not performing well on the field or off the field. There's some stuff. I do think that this is just going to be his last season because I would have loved if Rodgers would have followed the Brett Favre path of going to New York, sucking, and then going to like a different team and like Favre had a little bit of a
The Vikings.
resurgence in the
Yeah, the
Vikings,
Vikings.
right? That's not gonna. It didn't. It's. I don't think it's gonna happen here. I think this is gonna probably be his last season. I don't think there will be a farewell tour or anything like that. I think it's just like he's not gonna perform, and it's just gonna go down. But yeah.
I
Yeah.
Robbie, I gotta cut in for a second
No,
here.
you can go.
Just before you said, "Oh, Rogers like he likes to live his private life." I don't even think he likes to do that. I still think this guy is such a meme. This guy had like regularly scheduled programming on the Pat McAfee show. He has a full like film crew following him for his documentary or whatever, like the Enigma on Netflix, Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, the Enigma. I don't think I think this guy is like a fake. I want to be out of the spotlight guy, but also really wants to be in the spotlight because everything he does brings so much attention towards him. Like where it's like he causes such a scene in free agency. He obviously he had the film crew following him around, and now just this wedding ring thing is just like I don't know. And if it was any other player, I probably wouldn't even bat an eye. But it's just that it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's like I was finally overhearing. Like I was like glad nobody was talking about this dude because he just drives me insane. Honestly, like he did this whole like he did like his like LeBron trying to or LeBron like I'm going to taking my talents to South Beach last season, and it was or 2 seasons ago, and it was like, is he coming back next year? Who knows? And then this year was like the same thing, except nobody cared because he stunk.
Yeah, I do think, yeah, I do think you're right in a sense. I mean, I knew like in the past, like through that documentary, right? They kind of dug into the past of his life with his relationships, and like I think he used to be very public about them. Like when I think he like dated Danica Patrick and all that stuff,
Yeah, he
like he
did.
would do like public events with them. I think over the past couple years that has shifted, like that public side of him, of his relationships and stuff like that. But I do agree that yeah, a lot of his other personal life is out there, and he probably does enjoy that attention. Even now, I saw Jake Paul did an ayahuasca trip as well. So maybe he's
Yeah.
the reason why he's letting people into that part of his life is so people can not only understand where he's coming from, but also engage in something that may help them. But yeah, I get both sides of what you said before.
Yeah, I mean, he does like the tension. We know that, and I definitely do see both points. Like it's definitely he enjoys the attention, but overall for the Steelers, it smells like another year of mediocrity. Like they'll probably like we'll see if Mike can keep his or if he can keep the 9 wins to get to 9 wins, stay above 500. It'll probably be 8-9 or 9-8 realistically. Like every year they'll miss the playoffs or barely somehow scrape in if he plays a
Blown
great
out.
year. But it's pretty predictable what they're gonna be. They're gonna play good defense, and it's just not gonna be good enough for the playoffs. And then Rodgers, he could do. I mean, he could do better than Russ. He probably will be around the same level of quarterback play. And it's just DK like Robin Wilson, Calvin Austin, so Fryermuth, but it's not like it's not the most exciting offense, especially Arthur Smith's gonna want to run the ball a lot, so it just not very exciting, but it'll be interesting storyline at least to follow, because he's at least he may be a little annoying, but he is entertaining with whatever he does, even if it's annoying. But it'll be a saga to keep following. Who knows? Maybe he retires before week 1 if he's not feeling it.
That would not surprise me at all if he just pulled like oh my god. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here though. I think Rodgers is actually gonna have a good year. I hate to say it. I think he's gonna have a good season.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt he could have a good season. I feel like it would just be end up like 24 touchdowns,
Towards
nine
the end
picks
of
or
last
something.
season, Aaron Rodgers started to look a little bit better.
Yeah.
And my whole big thing though is just like it's the Jets. And I feel like the Jets is just like such a cursed organization at this point. To where like I feel like it was just never gonna work out. The Steelers though, I don't know. I don't know. I could see it, and now he's also like significantly more healthy. Like he's got like a full year on the bad or the torn Achilles, so it could be a little better. He's still very old. I don't think he's gonna play like crazy, but I think he's gonna play a lot better than last year. That's what I'm gonna say.
It's fair enough. It's just also he just always looks so frail nowadays. Like it just looks like if he takes like a bad hit, but he did play a lot of games last season, so I mean, But I just he can still make throw. Like, it wasn't his arm last year. It's just like his ability to move was, obviously from the injuries and getting old. That was really thing. But his arm looked pretty good last year still. And the thing is, he had Devontae and Garrett Wilson at the last stretch last year. He won't have that good of a duo this year. But I mean, I think he'll play fine football. Like, he can play good enough to access all the areas of the field. It's just the Steelers just they just don't excite me.
Caleb Johnson.
Caleb, hey, that could be a nice dynasty pickup for people. But
Who said that?
unless if do you guys have anything else to say on A-Rod or?
No, let's just
No.
keep going past him. I can't.
All right.
You make me
So
hungry.
I just want to make a quick news mentions, and you guys can talk about after, if any of them interest you. But we had a massive retirement in the NFL. One of the best center in the league, Frank Ragnow, retired, which is a big hit for the Lions. Only 29 years old, still, in the prime of his career, which is a big hit, especially this late in the offseason. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league, obviously, and he was a big factor, so it's a big loss. J.K. Dobbins finally signs after he had a great season this year, was only injured a couple games, and he had to wait still because of this great running back class, and people worried about his injuries to commit for longer, but he signed with the Broncos, which is a good opportunity for him to play with Harvey and Estime. And then multiple players. We have some holdouts in minicamp. Jonnu Smith and Ramsey, probably because both of them are on the trade block. They didn't show up. Trey Hendrickson, he's been wanting a new contract, and obviously they paid guys, so he's very upset. James Cook wants $15 million a year. Scary Terry, he wants more money, which after the season he had, and this could be his last big payday. Understandable. And same with TJ Watt. He wants a new contract, apparently, I saw.
Yeah. Let's see. Trey Hendrickson. Well, you know what? Fine. We'll go back here. Frank Ragnow. Really, that situation really reminds me of somebody else that went through retirement at the age of 29. Could be anybody. Could be absolutely anybody. Yeah. I think it stings a little bit more for me as a Colts fan than them, but, I get the shock retirement factor where you literally think, like, everything's now so well put together. This roster could really make a run, and then you kind of take a big piece there that you lose, especially at the offensive line position, or the center. Like, I mean, I guess I'd rather lose my center than, like, my left tackle or right tackle. But still stinks because you had such a solidified spot that you thought was going to be, like, for at least, like, another, like, 4, 5, 6 years even, that you thought was, like, we're good here. We can focus on other pieces now. It just opens up a hole in your lineup that you're like, crap, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. That's a big hole to be missing, especially with how great of a player he is, and like that the center. You're commanding the offensive line. Directing. It was a superpower having him in. So hopefully, their next guy up. Hopefully he can be somewhat, even half the guy Frank Ragnow was.
Yeah. Not as big of a hole as quarterback though.
Yeah.
Again, could be anybody.
Yeah.
Could be anybody that retired. I'm curious. I'm actually gonna ask you guys because you both play Dynasty football. The Dobbins signing, does that lower Harvey's stock? You think? What do you think?
I don't. Maybe for this year he gets less carries, but honestly, the draft capital that Harvey got, second round pick, running back. Sean Payton wanted this guy, and they waited all the way until now to sign J.K. Dobbins, which they're probably like, oh, we'd rather have 1-2 punch, which is always better to have. I think for dynasty wise, it doesn't really change too much just because they don't have a lot invested in Dobbins. Like, obviously, he's been injury prone over the years. Great player when he's healthy, but it's just he's been injury prone. He is young. It's just it's tough with the injuries, but I think worst comes to worst, it's it's a 1-2 punch. Maybe the start of this year he takes more carries, but Sean Payton wanted RJ Harvey. They drafted him well higher than a lot of people thought he would go. So there's just the draft capital, dynasty wise, like a second round running back is pretty huge. I mean, his almost third, but still that's a great spot to be drafted for a running back behind, one of the best lines in the league returning. So I think doesn't really change too much for me.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. I think with Dobbins' injury history, um, I don't really think that's going to affect his draft stock in Dynasty, especially. I'm assuming you guys also have a taxi squad. Do you have that?
No, we
No.
don't,
Oh, so we
unfortunately.
we have a taxi squad. So I believe you can keep a player on there. I don't know how many seasons, if there's a limit, but essentially you can. I think there's 3 spots, so you can keep a rookie on there until once you take them off the taxi squad, you can't put them back. So essentially,
Oh
right?
well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So until
I thought they
he
like stay there for like the whole season. Is that how it
no,
works?
so
Oh,
I don't know the
okay.
specifics. I'm not the commissioner, and honestly, I've haven't really utilized it because a lot of my draft picks, like for instance, like when I drafted like Drake London, like I didn't put him on the taxi squad, right? I just he
Hmm.
started right away. And honestly, a lot of my picks I traded away to get players who are already playing, so I haven't really utilized that in Dynasty, but it. I believe how it is they stay in the taxi spot, right? And then
Yeah.
once they start or you put them on the bench or I think it's start, then they can't go back in the taxi squad. So I think it will be good to pick him up regardless. He might move a couple spots of it, but I really don't see it affecting his value that much because the worst comes to worst. Okay, let's say he's RB3 to start the season, JK's 2 or 1 or whatever. Let's just say he's RB3. Keep him on the bench or taxi squad. JK gets hurt, right? That's kind of like history repeating itself, and then he has a chance to shine, and then you start him. So I think it won't really affect any value that he has there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm personally not high on him to begin with, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, he was drafted well higher than a lot of people thought, but the opportunity is just too good. I feel like, and it's running back. If you're getting the carries, you're gonna be fine, and he'll get some receiving work. But that reminds me, I forgot one guy to mention. Before Austin continues, the Bengals still have not signed their first round pick, Shamar Stewart, because they are being
Mm.
cheap. Apparently, so there's a slot of what you're supposed to pay a guy each year if you and there's a certain amount of guaranteed money. So it's already locked in like what you're basically paying. They want to pay him. Apparently, I saw something they want to pay him like less or like the same as it goes up each year because the cap goes up. They won't pay him like less than DJ Turner or the same as DJ Turner, what their first round pick a couple years ago, and it's like they're basically just being cheap, and that's why they they haven't signed him because they're known obviously as like the poorest ownership group, but they're haggling already, creating this is your first round pick, you want to be happy to be there, and you're not paying him just his fair amount that you drafted him, so you have to give him the contract, but they're basically haggling right now. So he's not in mini camp, or I think he's on the sidelines just
Yeah,
watching.
he's like going to meetings and everything, but like not
Hmm.
actually.
I mean,
I think
look,
it's a.
sorry, Austin, but I'll say it real
No, go
quick.
ahead.
I get what he's saying. Like, I think it's crazy. Like, I get it. The quarterback's the most valuable position, right? But for quarterbacks to be getting paid these absurd amounts of money, and then you're not even giving him what like he's deserving or like is slotted to earn, and you're being cheap about it. And while you're probably overpaying at some other positions, it just doesn't seem right or fair. So I understand. I understand it. For sure.
Yeah. Uh, I this was his quote was, "I'm not asking for nothing y'all have never done before, but y'all just want to win arguments more than winning games, in my opinion." Um, to me, it's almost like a relationship is already ruined before it even started. Like now, I can't imagine being drafted by my team when they don't want to give me like what every other like first round
Yeah.
draft pick I had. Like, what do you mean I'm not gonna get this? It's like that's crazy, and I get it. The Bengals are kind of in like cap hell right now. Like they gave Jamar Chase so much money. They paid Joe Burrow. They paid T Higgins. So it's like that's what happens though you're not gonna be able to keep Trey Hendrickson. Like you don't just have
No.
endless amounts of money when you give your star players so much money. Like I think they should have just let T Higgins go. Honestly, I know Joe Burrow wanted to keep them all together, but like their offense was phenomenal last year, and their defense was horrible, and they lost games. Like
Yeah.
they're playing these
Yeah.
guys that are just I don't
Yeah,
know.
and especially, making your first round pick mad when you're going to probably have to trade Trey Hendrickson,
Yep.
or you're at least not having him next year. You're making your first round pick mad. You need him to play this year because your defense was one of the worst in the league. Like, he's a more developmental guy, so you especially want him to get reps early on. And it's mind boggling. Like, stop arguing, just sign the guy, get him in camp, and you want him to get to work. I mean, it's just dumb by them, but especially, their defense was putrid last year. Like, Joe Burrow and
Terrible.
Jamar had a phenomenal, either triple crown season. Joe Burrow 40 touchdowns, like, insane year, and you're really trying to squabble right now. Like, this is, your best chance out of this is sign your 17th pick, start developing him, and hoping he turns out into a great player.
Like, do you think when they put when they put in the ticket to draft him, they were like, we know
We
we're
might be able to
not paying
bargain
this
this guy.
guy. Like
We might be able to
we're
bargain.
yeah, like they knew when they drafted him, like, oh, we're excited that we're gonna be cheap with this guy, or he's gonna be real happy when he figures out we're not paying him. It's just like I don't know how they could be naive or go into it like thinking like, oh, congrats, like here's like, forget about what you should get. How about you help the team? You know what I'm saying? Like it just makes no sense, and it's just like yeah, it's just like honestly, I don't. The fact that Robbie said like, oh, Burrow want to keep them together. It's like, yeah, I would like to play with all my friends too and not make them leave. But at the same time, it's like you got to realize like 50% of the team sucks, right? Like 50% of the team is not good. So it's just like if you want to win games, sometimes you have to let go of some of your friends and let them play somewhere else. So the the team overall can be better. It's just like, yeah, there's not endless money out there. So I definitely see the frustration. But obviously, I'm sure Joe and Jamar could care less because they're just swimming in it right now. You know, they're just doing whatever they want with that money. So it's not their problem.
I do think Joe Burrow's like a guy that wants to win though. Like I think he's like I don't think he like
Yeah,
I
but
don't want
listen,
to say
but
about the money.
listen. If Joe wanted to win, he would go into the office and be like, pay that guy right now, like pay him.
I think
But I don't know why
no,
that hasn't happened.
I think he was like been like a heavy advocate for like paying these guys. And I did he end up kind of taking a discount?
Let me see what his contract was.
I mean, maybe I don't know if
I
maybe it's deferred. I don't know the exact details. I'm sure they're not paying him all
No,
of
he's
it.
making a lot
All,
of money.
but you don't think some of it's deferred? I don't know the exact contract
Yeah,
Oh, I
details.
don't.
I'm sure that now, like, they do it so often with guys. It's like everyone's contracts getting every year they're like moving money. It's like, yeah, 5 year 275. He didn't take. He was the highest paid at the time in September
No discount.
2023. So, but I mean, when you can make that much money, I'm like, damn. But I mean, now in a couple years, like when all these guys are pretty much locked up for a long time. Like half the league is on these massive deals now. So I mean, obviously the path to the Bengals winning is going to be trying to put up 40 points a game again, and I mean it's obviously going to be fun for us to watch. We don't we want some fun football, so we're going to get some fun offensive football. Their defense, on the other hand, hopefully
Oh,
their additions help, but it's going to be tough, especially if Hendrickson is like, I want to get out of here if you guys aren't going to pay me.
yeah, yeah. And I would actually like to shout out their GM and ownership for not paying their defense because they scapegoated Lou Anarumo, got him fired, and now he's our defensive coordinator. So I guess we'll see how he does, but I'm gonna have to say thank you as for right now because everything that I've heard was kind of like Lou Anarumo's a very fine defensive coordinator. Like it was
Hmm.
not his fault. It was just the players that they
We're
gave him
bad.
to use that he
Yeah.
couldn't make work.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. He has a lot of respect among the league, and he's the guy who's architected some of these great performances against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs and regular season. So it's definitely good get for the Colts, and it's definitely for the Bengals. They got a lot of work to do. We'll see if their defense improves. Like maybe just bringing in different guys helps, but it's like
They lost their captain.
you're gonna have to put
They
up
were-
points.
They released their
Yeah.
captain, Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, he's in Vegas now.
Yeah, that's got to be to free up money to try and pay Trey Hendrickson. 'Cause I
Yeah,
think
and
although I don't even know, but I feel like that's another relationship that's at this point. It's like it's almost
Yeah.
like it's run its course already. Like it's just like trade him
Yeah.
at this point.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's really dumb by the Bengals to not pay Shamar Stewart because you're just not doing yourselves any favor for the future. Like
Yeah.
now, let's say let's say he's a stud, okay, and now his rookie deal's ending, contract negotiations come up again. He's probably thinking, "Oh, here we go again. Like they're gonna try and lowball me."
Mhm.
I don't know. I just pay him. Just pay him. He's not asking for anything extra. He's just asking to be paid like the rest of his peers.
Yeah. But yeah, so then we have Scary Terry, who understandably after
Yeah.
that great season, Jaden Daniels balling out with him, he wants a new deal, and
That's
I mean
always receivers.
it's always you're always
He'll
so
get
there's a lot of guys who it's like all right they're gonna probably have some sort of adjustments, some bonuses upcoming. This is only mandatory mini camp. No, we're not to training camp yet. That's when it really starts to get serious. And then I think if there's anyone, I don't know if there's anyone else that needs long term off the franchise tag, but I think that deadline's July 15th. So there's that to look forward to. But yeah, I think that's some of the main guys. Like there's other guys I'm sure that are holding out. Like I just didn't see to write down, but those are some of the main guys who have some disputes for different reasons. So I think it'd be a good time to talk about. We're going to be hitting up the Mohegan Card Show this weekend. So
No Austin, unfortunately.
Austin,
So
unfortunately, will not be making it out
That's
there.
you two.
he will be
Yeah.
missed at Frank Pepe's. We will be eating some
Oh.
cheese pizzas, thinking of him.
Save me a slice.
Nope, Robbie's
Yeah,
gonna eat it.
I'm
Yeah,
eating that.
I watched Robbie devour a pie that he said he was going to bring home to his family.
Whoa.
Dude,
Oh,
when-
yeah, actually, they're listening right now. I'll never forget the look on Robbie's face when he said, my parents told me to bring this home, and he just was devouring it.
I was someone was like, "Oh, you can't finish the whole thing," and then I'm like, "Oh, you bet," and then I finished it, and then
You had a smirk, though. You knew.
I did
you
have
knew
a
what you were
smirk.
doing.
I wanted that slice. Sorry, Mom and Dad and Trevor, but maybe next time.
the one show all three of us went to, the three of us did kill 2 large cheese pizzas. I think maybe 1 cheese, 1 pepperoni, but they were like,
Yeah.
I think at one point, I mean, I'm sure Austin and I were like, man, we're full. And Robbie's like, you guys done? Can I clean up?
Yeah.
Like, Robbie was going
Oh,
crazy.
Robbie-
Yeah, you
Robbie's
guys
a dog.
People clear the runway for me. I ask, they're done. I'm ready to cook.
We're
And
tossing
he-
Robbie the lob.
Bro,
We're gonna catch him on a
Austin,
fast
every
break off
every
the
single
flat.
time he eats pizza at the restaurant, he goes through like 50 napkins. Like 1
Oh,
or 2
yeah.
napkins per slice, and they're just like
Yeah.
balls of like napkins together, and they're just he's like, can I have a like he's just asking me for more napkins. I'm like, dude, chill out.
So what? Hey, that's part of that's included.
Oh
for free.
man, yes,
Yeah, but now to the actual card show, guys.
Yes.
yes.
What are you guys looking for?
Well, we also did the early bird special. We mentioned to mention that.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I know we're obviously looking for our PC guys, and then of course we're just looking for good deals on guys that catch our attention. I know Doug's looking for some Caitlin Clark. I'm looking for
Really?
Nah.
He might be. Her market's insane right now. But quarterbacks, just anything cool, any one of ones, any cool patches, the stuff that I always like to pick up.
Here's what I'm going to say, Robbie. Okay. I had a traumatic experience this past weekend at the flea market, and it made
Oh
me think of this
gosh.
show. There was someone selling. They had a 2 row of sports cards, like football in one, baseball in the other.
Yeah.
No prices on the cards. I go, how much are the cards? He goes, they're not. They're all different prices. Let me know which ones you want. I'll look them up. Okay. If I see a single card with no price tag on it and I ask how much and they say, let me check online, I'm going to say, no, thank you. I'm okay.
So
Listen,
annoying.
I am all for, I get it nowadays. Everything is just based on comps, sales, everything. I get that. But for you to not even give me an overpriced sticker or something to go off of, because I don't care if you overprice it by $100. I can say the last sale was this, or there's one listed for this. Can you come near it? If they say no, great. But for you to make like me put in so much more work, or I swear to God, if I hear someone that says, make me an offer, I hear this all the time, especially card collector too. And I use this with clothing or anything. I cannot be the buyer and the seller. You give me a price to start with. And when someone says no, like this happened to me at the flea market, like they're like, I'm like, how much is the t-shirt? Make me an offer. $10. Like I am literally going to lowball you just to give you a number. Just because I'm not like gonna say 50 or 100 when you would have taken 30. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just there's got to be a baseline start. That's going to be my number one thing. I'm not going to waste my time unless, again, if it's like a Paul Reed or Michael Carter Williams or a 76ers 101 card, that's a little different, right? Because sometimes you can't find comps or whatever. But generally speaking, okay, there has to be a starting point, and it can't be started by me unless you want a lowball offer, because it's just not like I don't think that's fair, and I think you guys could probably agree with me how it's kind of like a turnoff when like you want something and it's like, oh, I don't know, like this happened before at the I think it was the hard hitting show, Robbie, with the guy that had someone had a Desmond Ritter Drake London card, and
Yeah.
he was like, and he didn't have a price on it. He's like, make an offer, and I'm like, it's tough, like especially if someone's into a Desmond Ritter from 2 years ago, right? And they don't want to pay or sell it for today's price. It's like I'm not paying 2 years ago. Like I need to go off numbers and stuff like that. So that's going to be my number one thing, that I'm going into that mindset of like be prepared as a seller, because I'm going to be prepared as a buyer to make offers and be fair.
It's also like, when they say like let me look it up, they're just going to click on like they're gonna first of all see whatever's like the highest price at the moment, and then if they look through the sold, they're looking at the highest possible numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it always comes out to something unrealistic. Specifically at like card shows in the past, we've had.
I mean,
I don't even ask the guy anymore because it's just like I know it's just gonna
so
be
annoying.
let me
I've
look it up
stopped.
real quick.
I've stopped going to that guy because it's literally just it's so annoying every
It's the
time.
same
It's
thing.
like he's always like, let me. It's even if it's like a $5 car. I'm like, all right, like it wastes so much time, and like I already asked, and like I don't want to be rude, but it's like I'd be like, I wish I could just be
walk
like,
away.
put it
Yeah.
back in. I'm like, no thanks.
I mean, the one good thing, and I don't know why I thought of this. It's like randomly like one of the weird cards I regret not buying. This guy at a show had a Nikhil Alexander Walker. I want to say it was like a Spectra Nebula 101. It was like that Romeo Langford you had, Austin. Or not Austin, Robbie. Remember that Romeo Langford 101 you had?
The
Was that
Tremont Waters.
or Tremont Waters? Yeah.
Yeah, Spectra.
It was like that, and he didn't have a price on it, and like there weren't a lot of sales, but like there were other 101s listed, and like Spectra's a pretty decent set. Like it's one of the more expensive, and it's a Nebula, and like other one-off sets, like I probably could have got it for a good price. Like I probably would have paid like 150 for it at the time. It was graded like probably like a 9 or 9.5/10, and like I don't know, I would have made that offer, but it was like one of those awkward situations that like he didn't have a price on it. He said he was into it for a lot, and I was just like, the last thing I want to do is just like offer this guy 120, and you know what I'm saying? Like he's like, oh, well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
into it for 5 type of thing, and it's like, I don't know. I just like I regret not trying to work something out on that, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm just gonna be looking for specific cards, good pricing, like wrestling stuff, especially. You know, if I can find any Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, like I said, 76ers stuff. That's going to be my main focus going from there.
Mhm.
And honestly, last time I went to Mohegan, I wasn't even using 130 sales. I was using eBay. So I think 130 is going to be better for me to find pricing and stuff like that. But also a lot of times too, like I'm getting to that point with cards like I am with t-shirts that sometimes I don't even need to like look up a comp. Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
at the flea market this past weekend there was a vintage Disney t-shirt. They wanted 25 bucks. I didn't even have to look it up. I offered 20 bucks. It's like a 150 $200 t-shirt. I'm getting to that point with cards where I'm like, you know what? Like for 60 bucks for this card, like that Chad Ryland 101 autograph, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a 101 kicker rookie autograph for 60 bucks, I was like, why not? You know what I'm saying? And then it worked out. I think
Mm-hmm.
I sold it for like 150 or 200. So it's that like
Yeah.
very niche stuff that like sometimes you don't even need a bot or
Yeah. Just
looking
like
up, you know?
take that all. Like it's when it's something like you're like, oh, that's just too good of a price. I know I'll make money on it, or it's just too cheap not to get. So it's like just the intuition we
Yeah,
have now, like from the experiences.
yeah, I would say also like a lot of the more liquid cards are the ones that you actually probably need to look up more because prices are like consistently changing, I would say.
Fluctuating.
When it comes
Mm-hmm.
to like that one-off stuff, right? Like 76ers one-on-one cards or like Michael Carter Williams, it's like more the sense of like would I pay this? Like would I
Yeah,
pay
exactly.
X amount and not even like it doesn't even matter if one sold for 50 bucks. Like if it's for 60 or you know what I'm saying? So, but like the
Mm-hmm.
more like downtowns and uptowns and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not looking to buy that stuff. I don't really care because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not looking to flip it. That I think is stuff that pop counts and recent sales play more of a factor in looking it up, in my opinion, than like the one-off niche PC stuff.
Yeah, and especially like yeah, it's stuff like that. Like, and it's always funny. We see in like these videos, like people are buying those downtowns and stuff. Like, and some are like there's so many people just buying them for like repacks and stuff, and then like buying them to just make like $10 on them, like because they're so like liquid and like stuff like that. It's like the market is just so like there's so many sales, so it's like there's kind of like a defined market. It's like it's kind of the stuff we're looking for is the stuff where there isn't really a defined market. That's kind of what I like to find, like stuff like where there isn't any comps, and I kind of like we're like, oh, this is just a good deal. Like it makes sense at the price, and I'm willing to take a shot on it because I'd rather something, that there's not a lot of comps on because otherwise it's just guys. It's just if they're trying to sell it for the exact comp, it has to be like a really good card.
Yeah, and like my last point that I'll make is a lot of videos that I've seen of people selling at shows, they're typically selling downtowns and uptowns at like 90%. Typically, most people try to work stuff around 70 to 80%. You know, it all depends. That's what most people reselling will do. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to selling, and I'm just going to specifically relate selling downtowns to selling like watches and Rolexes, a lot of watch dealers work off like 5% margins. And they just do that now. Obviously, watches can typically be more expensive than downtowns, right? But if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, right, if you're making a 5 to 10% margin, right, and you're Xing that on a major scale, you can make a lot of money if you have the
Mm-hmm.
capital, right? If you have the platforms to sell, right? You can do it. It like I said, takes a lot of capital, takes a lot of work, and especially when you have a lot of competition of people selling them, at
Mm-hmm.
the same time you have a lot of people that want it. So I think at this show, I think the number one most popular card especially going to football season, and like probably the hottest card that's been for probably a couple years now will probably keep being downtowns and uptowns. That's what people. We're gonna see a ton of them. They're gonna be moving and selling, and I think that will be, um, there will be an overflow of that. And I'm just gonna look all past it and just look for some Nicholas Batum 101s.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
that was my whole worry though, was because I pulled the Uptown when I opened my box, and I was kind of just thinking, I was like, there's just been so many people pulling all of these cars. I was like, I kind of just want to sell this right away. And
Hmm.
I just want to get rid of it because, like, I think I was Xavier Worthy. I was like, I think Xavier Worthy's gonna have a really good year, but like, I feel like
Yeah,
I just kind of had
when
to
the
strike
product
while the
comes
iron's
out,
hot. Yeah, because
it's
I just
like,
had that feeling where it was just every like box that I saw people opening, it was like, oh, we got an Uptown, we got an Uptown, we got an Uptown. So they put so much in the retail product that I just was like, gotta get rid of it.
And the other thing too is like it's the off season. Football cards like uptowns and downtowns are still selling like crazy. Like I don't see a scenario where like a Josh Allen downtown goes up in value if he wins MVP again. Or like it's very hard now when these cards are selling like crazy for them to go up an insane amount unless it's like a gold or a 101 or like
Yeah.
if you have a
hmm
Caleb or a Bo Nix and like they go like if Jaden Daniels, right, if he has another crazy season, that's someone I see going up a tremendous or to continue to go up a tremendous amount. But it's just like these one off like are Xavier Worthy Uptown's going to go up in price if he, has 1,000 yard season? Probably not. Like you because there's just so many of them. That's just
Yeah, I'm
my
glad I
thoughts on
sold
it.
it.
Yeah, what'd you get for it?
250.
Yeah,
They're
and
$100
yeah,
now. They're
yeah,
$100. See,
definitely good that
I
you
had
well,
to
sold
when
follow
them.
them
even
up there.
even when you pulled it, they were like there was like 100 of them listed, and they were anywhere from like
That's what
150 to
scared me so much.
300. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
hmm
That
Yeah.
I They definitely put out a lot of hits
hmm
in the retail
Yeah.
optics. So I had to
They're
follow my gut there. I was like, I think this is just best to get
yeah.
rid of as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Like, not even grade it, just
They
let
want
it
to
go.
sell as much optic as possible.
I mean, I'm assuming
Yep,
a PSA 10 worthy Uptown is probably 250.
probably. Let's see.
Yeah.
So like
So
you would have just waited 3 months to get it back, and
Hope that it's a
then
10.
yeah,
yeah.
Ah, last 10 sold for 335.
okay.
But there's probably also people are sending them away, like
Yeah,
we're sending it. So there's
a
probably gonna
big
be more, depending on how quality is on them.
yeah.
But
Fun rips though. Really
yeah,
fun rips.
it does. Optic is a nice product.
Actually, I need to question both of you right now.
Oh
Heard
boy.
you guys saying what you're looking for. I didn't hear anybody say solo ball. Not one person.
Oh, I mean, of course we'll keep an eye out for Stinny B, some solo ball.
I mean, here's the thing, Sten. Right? If I'm in a situation, okay, and I can't get a hold of you, I need to
Okay.
know, like for instance, if
What
I
I would
find
pay.
like if I have to pay $300 for a solo ball Bowman 101 auto.
As I say, better be a 101 because the solo ball market.
It's a solo ball out of 99. Dog's like,
I
hey,
bought this
Austin,
for you. I'm like,
300.
I mean, look, I would if I came across a 101, I would honestly probably just buy it and not even tell you about it, and then like hint, and then like just like tease and hit you throughout like a week. Be like, Stin, like I found something at the show, and just send you like little like pictures and stuff like that, and then
well,
just
now you've ruined it because now when you do, I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, it's the solo
We
ball
should,
101.
dog. We should do that with like a random card for, and
I'm done.
then we'll be like, "Hey, Austin, it's something crazy."
So now you're trying to debate me.
Or
Now
how
you
about
will know.
so here's what I
Now I
do.
won't know.
If
You're
if I
right.
if I get if I find and buy a solo ball 101, I'm gonna leverage it and then have you buy the Paul Reed 101 spec was it the Spectra? Then the
Mm.
Nebula robbed you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leverage that and be like, hey, I want this card. You gotta figure it out.
I've been trying so hard. The new the Panini content or the Panini
Yeah.
NIL thing is probably where I'm going to see the first 101 because I haven't seen it from anything else yet.
I have both my solo ball and solo min ball 101 saved searches on. I haven't come across anything yet. I was looking at the
Nothing.
Panini NIL Yukon stuff. It looks cool, but yeah, I haven't
Is there a
come.
101 there
I,
in
I
it even?
honestly haven't even seen any other
I didn't look at like
101s
a
from that
checklist.
product. But I'm
Yeah.
sure there's got to be something now. I mean, the proc's been out for a decent amount of time, so something's out there.
Yeah, but there is I see a Jim Calhoun 1 of 1 listed for
Really?
479. Yeah, and then there's an Aubrey Griffin bidding
Griffith?
right now. Oh yeah, Griffin. Yeah, whatever that is. And
I gotta see this.
then there's the Azzy Fudd Gold out of 10 that's listed for 200.
That's
There's a
tough.
Caravan case hit listed.
What's the case hit?
It's profiles. It looks kind of like a color blast type design.
I am seeing this Jim Calhoun 101. Okay, so they do have the black 101s in there.
What is it like a subset? Like what's the set?
This is a legendary. So this is a coach one, a legendary
But what?
contender.
But what's like? Because it's just essentially like a Chronicles product, right? Where it's like
It's
different
just the
sets.
Yukon NIL product, I guess. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that'll be interesting too.
Yukon private signings?
They do have color blasts in here.
They have Color Blast?
Oh wait, yeah, that's part of it.
What? Oh my god, so you're telling me there's a solo ball Color Blast?
There might be if he's on the checklist. There's a mascot.
Robbie, how would he not be on the fucking checklist?
I don't know. You know how they're sometimes weird, but he probably is. Campus. This is like a case it. How much are these boxes? You should.
They're
cop
cheap. They're cheap. There's like the blasters, and then I think there's actual hobby ones.
155 listed.
There's a hobby box?
Yeah,
Well, I think it has 3 hits.
two. It says 2 autographs. 2 autographs in the box, and there are 1 of 1s from a couple sets. It looks like you can get. There are gold vinyls.
There's gold vinyls.
Let's just rip a case, Austin. Austin, just rip a case.
You know,
Hey,
the person who's driving up the price, that's definitely Paige Becker's.
There's a case of blasters, Austin. I'll send you the link. It's bidding at $37 with 1 hour and 51 minutes left.
Really?
A case of blasters?
That's
Austin.
what it says.
Austin.
Read the description first, though. Make sure that's not some BS. But there's
I mean, a blaster's
20 boxes total. Shipping is $30.
That's fine. 20 boxes. Probably each box is probably retails for like 30 or 40 bucks. So
yeah. It's probably gonna bid like there's 18 watchers, but someone's gonna probably bid like crazy then. But still, worth a check.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
would definitely need, if Austin won that, we would definitely need to set up a little episode of the podcast and have him break it.
Live break. Oh, I'd be so pissed if I didn't get a solo ball out of that.
I mean, you would get something out of it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely something solo ball in that case. Was it the 101? Probably, but, like, you need it.
Well, I've already bid it up to $78. I wonder how much this person's paying for it. Let's go 100. See if it's. Nope, they have over that. 110. Over that. 125.
Oh gosh.
I typed in 1,250. That would have been real tough. Damn. Curious what this finish is at. It's gonna be like probably around.
Over 500?
I think it'll be right over 500. I'm gonna go with like 630.
Do you know what are the blasters? Am I correct saying they retail for like $30?
Probably. Panini these days.
All right, so 50. And you're honestly probably better buying a whole case than an individual box, just because it's
It's like buying in bulk.
Right.
But I think this is a good spot to end the pod on. Was a good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.
You weren't going to ask me about Daniel Jones?
Oh,
Oh,
Spoiler.
Daniel